One of the biggest challenge you must have been facing is which optional to select for UPSC CSE preparation. Right now there are n number of optionals, and amongst that you have to choose an optional which will guarantee your success. A good optional is the one which will comparatively take less time and will give you a lot of marks. It is not like the most popular optional is also the one from where you get maximum selection. Right, and a lot of engineers take humanities as their topic, as their optional, and get selected. Right, so if you like doing this, then these subjects, accordingly you can choose. One of the biggest challenge you must have been facing is which optional to select for UPSC CSE preparation. Right, the optional selection is one of the most important decisions which you will make in this particular preparation. So welcome back to UPSC 360, and this chapter is about optional headache. Right now there are n number of optionals, and amongst that you have to choose an optional which will guarantee your success. Right, so let's talk about this. So why optional selection is so important? So if you compare it with the general studies subject, general studies are general in nature. Every subject counts for 250 marks and every paper has multiple subjects. But optional requires thorough understanding. It basically fetches you 500 marks, which is huge. Right, it guarantees your selection, or basically you can say, and it will not be wrong to say, that your selection basically depends upon your optional. If you are not scoring above 250 marks in this 500 total marks, you might not make to the list. So it is very, very important to go for an amazing optional which basically suits you. It is not like there is a best optional and everybody should select that. It should basically, you can say, complement your personality, your aptitude, your thought process. Right, so it's very, very important. Yes, a good optional is the one which will comparatively take less time and will give you a lot of marks. It is not like I can say that go for anthro, everybody should go for anthro. That cannot be the case, right? One shoe will not fit all, and that is the reason we have to figure out that which option is going to be the best option for you. Optional selection is more like a marriage. Right now, in 99.9% cases, once you have selected the optional, you cannot back out. You have to ensure that you read that optional, study that optional. Yeah, so most of you basically make these choices on the basis of my friend has taken geography optional, so I'll also take geography optional. Right, my father said that this is the best subject, so I'll go for it. Or sometimes you think that you have a lot of interest in this particular topic, but in reality you don't. So there are a lot of things which will basically push you to make a mistake while choosing an optional. Right, so what I believe is this selection of an optional should be based upon data, not based upon intuition. Right, very, very important. So there are multiple streams of optional: engineering, medical science, literature of languages, humanities, and humanities B. Let's call it humanities only. So there is humanity, there are science subjects, medical science and engineering, and then there is a separate set of literature subjects, amongst which you have to choose, you have to make a choice. Now, first of all, let me show you some graphs, and then I'll also show you some data. So as I said, the most important thing is before you take this decision, you should have understanding of the data. So a lot of students appear into these subjects, right? These are the, you can say, super favorite, very, very popular topics. For example, PSIR, Anthro, Sociology, Geography, History, Mathematics, Public Administration, and Philosophy. These are like most sought after, these are like most favorite, very, very popular topics. Right, but if you compare their success rate, right, if you compare the success rates, it is not like the most popular optional is also the one from where you get maximum selection. Right, the success rate varies. For example, history comes amongst most, you can say, favorite subjects, but the success rate is very, very low. On the other hand, if you compare with mathematics, comparatively less number of students are taking amongst the top optionals, less number of students are opting for mathematics optional, but the success rate for mathematics optional is very, very high, or you can say one of the highest amongst the top optionals. So you'll have to consider this. So yes, so what we are realizing, that the most popular optional is not always the most successful optional. Right, so this is a myth. If I go for PSIR or history, I'll be selected, or geography, I'll be selected. No, the most popular ones are not the ones which will guarantee you success. You'll have to figure out what will work for you, which subject will suit you. Before I go ahead, you must understand that there is huge difference in the demand for general studies subject and the optional subject. Optional subjects wants that you should have in-depth understanding of the topic. You can say to the graduation level or the honors level understanding is required. For example, in let's say history optional, you also need to have understanding of the location of the sites. In general studies, it is not required. You also need to have understanding of sayings of the various historians, various you can say achievements of various archaeologists, right? And the analytical understanding, the whole understanding of the whole thing. But in general studies, it is not at all required, right? So as I said, most popular optionals are not the ones. Now you might also say that then, sir, let me choose my graduation subject only. So let me tell you that if you compare, those who got selected into the UPSC CSE examination and who basically you can say belongs to various background, so you realize that those who are getting selected, maximum percentage comes from engineers. Right, shocking that almost 60% of the selection comes from the engineers, then 25% from the humanities background. So 60 and 25, there's huge variation. Then there is 8.6% from the science background and only 5.9% from the medical science background. Right, so again these are you can say especially medical science is very, you can say, niche. But the others, if you compare the top ones, right, there is a huge, or there is a stark difference, a stark contrast between these two numbers. Also, the optional of the final selected candidates, the recommended candidates, their optional 80.8% are from humanities, right? So suppose that means कि 60% are getting selected who are engineers, but 80% of them, or basically 80% of the selected candidates had taken humanities as optional. That means there is a huge shift. Engineers are not taking engineering optional. There must be some reason. They had shifted to, mostly this shift is from the engineers to the humanities background. Engineers will take anthro, geography, history, PSIR. So there's a huge shift towards this, and 80% selection come from humanities. Even if you are engineer, it is not recommended that you should blindly go for engineering subject, right? And a lot of engineers take humanities as their topic, as their optional, and get selected, right? So especially to the engineers, I'll say that do not be in this you can say aura or in this myth that because you are an engineer you have to take engineering as a topic. In UPSC CSE preparation, you are exposed to number of topics and number of new subjects. So when you can study geography for general studies, you can also study geography for the optional. Possible. I'm not saying take geography optional, by the way, but yes. So there is this data basically tells you a lot of things. Yes. Okay, so as I said, there's a huge shift. Now let me show you some data as well, right now, because this is a very important topic. So I'll show you some data. Let's go for the success rate of this. This is basically coming from the latest report. This is 22, 23 or 21, 22, whichever is published. Right now, so this report you see, so these are the top optionals, people opting for. Maximum number of students take PSIR, right? Then anthro. The second number optional as per the popularity is anthro. Then socio, then geography, then history. These are top 5 optional. Sixth one is mathematics. Then PubAd, philosophy, Hindi language, by the way, it is also amongst the top, right? And at 9th number we have Hindi language, then medical science, economics, right? Then these 5 are at the 10 to 15 number. In 10 to 15 zone, now you have mechanical engineering and civil engineering. So engineering comes in top 15, not top 10 basically, right? And if you see their success rate, the best optional might not have great success rate. A success rate, as per the data, the best success rate will be something above 8%, right? If it is above 8%, I'll consider it as good, right? Comparatively. So now you see, so anthro, though a lot of people are taking anthro optional, but it is only 7.8% over here. Right, similarly sociology and PSIR, they are popular as well, plus their success rate percentage is also very high. Similarly geography, though it comes in top 5, history though it comes in top 5, but their contribution to success, right, it is success rate is 6.1 and 4.4%, which is very challenging. One of the amazing optional is mathematics. Right, let me tell you about mathematics. First of all, the percentage rate is very high, 9.7. right? Also the score possible in mathematics is very high. You can go as high as 350, 360 marks in mathematics, which is not at all comparable, which is far away from the other optional. So mathematics score wise is one of the best optional, but it does not mean that everybody can take mathematics optional, right? Now you have to have the aptitude for the numbers. You should have background in the mathematics. Not everybody can switch to mathematics, but yes, it is a, you can say advantage for the engineers that they can switch to mathematics if they are good in mathematics. Also, mathematics, before we are talking about, because we are talking about it, so mathematics is a lengthy optional, right, as compared to the other optional. So you will also have to invest more into the preparation. Other optionals are comparatively shorter, right? Comparatively their syllabus is smaller. You need to invest lesser in the other optionals, but mathematics need to have a lot of investment, right? You'll have to study, you know, mathematics for 6 months, 8 months somewhere, and then only you will be able to prepare. So though the ROI is very high, but still investment is also very high. Then PubAd optional is also performing well, 8.6%. Philosophy, at once upon a time, philosophy was one of the favorite optional, very popular amongst the top 5. But now it is going down. Also, the success percentage is not as impressive. Hindi language literature, my apologies, right? It is also ensuring 10.4%. So those who have doubt about Hindi, literature as an optional, you must understand that the success rate of Hindi language is very high. You can definitely opt for Hindi literature if you have some understanding or background in it. Similarly, if you have a background in medical science, percentage is very high, 12.2%. Right, and I need not switch. If you are a doctor, if you are preparing for UPSC, this is amazing. You might have heard a lot of doctors getting selected. Right, and so success rate of medical science is also very high. Yes, but can others take this subject? No, right? If you are not from medical science, right, this is not advisable. Similarly, economics, 13%, and this is also for somebody who have background in economics. Though anybody can study economics, but if you have a background, amazing, right? Similarly, law, if you have a law background, 11.7% of success rate, very high. Mechanical engineering, though it's a top optional, provided there are a lot of engineers, but see, the percentage is low. Similarly, civil engineering, the percentage is low. Commerce and accountancy also amounts to very high percentage, that is commerce, and 15%, right? Amazing. So this top 15 optionals tells you a lot of things, right? Now, if you have to select amongst this, you now have some idea, some data what to go for, right? Also I'm comparing literature subjects. Literature subjects also do contribute to very high percentage. If you have a literature background, right, and you think, no, I only have to take anthro, you must understand that there are a lot of students getting selected from the literature. 10.4%, 10.8%, 11.7%, 11.1%. Amazing. From English optional, right? Punjabi, Mathli, Marathi, right? Amazing percentage. And Manipuri 50%. Only 2 people got selected, right? Basically came for interview, and one of them was selected, right? So again, it's not like everybody can take Mathli, but Manipuri, but 50%. That is huge, amazing, right? So yeah. So again, the success percentage, you see, even the literature optional, guarantees a better success rate. And on the other hand, engineering subjects, why people switch from engineering to humanities? Reason is that all the 3 engineering subjects do not contribute more than 8%. Our highest is 7.4%, which is civil engineering. So though few, by the way, this data is only for those who appeared into mains examination, not into prelims examination. Right, because optionals matters only in the mains examination. Somebody who was into prelims and could not make to mains, right, and then the data is not, important for UPSC. So data which UPSC has released is only for those who basically appeared into mains examination. So yeah, so huge percentage, no, engineering is not promising a huge percentage. But still, people are getting selected. Again, let me not demoralize you. It is not like, nobody is getting selected from mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering. If you are great in engineering, if you have amazing background, people will be selected from that. So again, it is not like because the percentage success rate is low, so you should switch from engineering to humanities. Nothing like that, right? And like, if you are amazing in that particular subject, I've seen myself, some of my seniors, some of my juniors who basically had amazing understanding of mechanical engineering, and they got selected. By the way, I'm an engineer myself, right? So yeah, so mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, if you rate yourself as, let's say, A grader, or you say out of 10 you are 8 or something, right? Your understanding is 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, definitely you can opt for it, you can get selected. It is not like you mandatorily have to switch from engineering to the other topic, right? Another thing is, okay, then other than that, science and maths, if you see, we have already discussed mathematics, medical science, right? And then chemistry and agriculture are also contributing a lot, right? Similarly botany, by the way, this is the latest data I'm telling you, so 9.4. so even botany is contributing huge, right? And you can go for other subjects as well. For example, one of the subjects people ask is the physics, right? And 5.3%. Similarly, zoology is also 7.1, not bad, right? Yeah, so mathematics and medical science are one of the best subjects when it comes to success rate. Other than that, agriculture is performing well, chemistry is also performing well. Then humanities, you see, humanities we have mostly discussed, right? It is more like popular topics only. One more thing I want you to notice is psychology is also contributing like 11.8%, which is huge. Management is contributing 16%, which is again huge, right? So yeah, so you can think about these options as well if you have a background. So let us come to how to take a call, right? So now you have seen the data. First thing is your graduation or graduation plus background, right? Graduation or post graduation background. Your background is important. If your optional is performing well and you are rating yourself as 8 out of 10 in your particular subject, see, it is good to have a background. It is very much recommended to have prior understanding of the subject, so that only thing which is needed is that you have to make it more precise, right? You have to basically adapt as per the UPSC requirement. So if you have a background, amazing, right? But provided you are 8 out of 10, you are a grader, right? A grader not with respect to marks, with respect to understanding. So if you have amazing understanding of your background subject, for example, if you are from, let's say, history background, if you have amazing understanding of history, great, right? And go for this subject, right? So yeah, so if 8 out of 10, then I'll say yes, go for this topic. If no, right, and then think about, first of all, data, then select as per your interest. Yeah, so it should be data and interest based selection. Now, how to understand what is your interest, right? Don't say ki, I like geography. No, that is not the way. For figuring out interest, you have to do deep research. Again, even if you go for renting, if you want to rent a flat or house, you basically see multiple houses just where you want to live for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, right? There you basically go for multiple options. You see what is in their budget, you see where the market is closer, where you get all the facilities, where the space is good enough for you. So you look for all these things. So why not for optional? So you have to find it out. So you have to seek interest. You have to find out if you have interest. For example, you'll have to see the orientation videos, right? Attend orientations. First of all, as per data, whatever is possible for you, maybe make a list of 5 subjects, right? All these are possible for me, be it, let's say, PSIR, Anthro, or sociology or mathematics, whatever is suitable for you. Then go for orientation. Understand what is required out of it, right? Then go for syllabus as well. And then, though it will not make much sense, but at least see one question paper, right? Last year question paper, and see if it interests you, right? And so if you, after these 3 steps, whatever subject you feel you have interest, then go for it. And one more step I would like you to understand is do you have guidance available, right? Guidance. Because there might be a lot of books available on physics, right? But is there a book, or you can say guide or path or mentor available where the physics required for UPSC is covered, right? Which guides you how to cover that part which is important for UPSC. So guidance is available. Yes, this is one of the important thing. Or if you have a lot of interest or something, you can figure it out, right? You should be able to figure it out. This will be a bit time taking, but anyway. So guidance, then study material, all these things becomes important. Very subject to subject, but yes, it becomes important. and then finally select that particular optional, because as I said, optional is like a marriage, right? There is no way out of it, right? Very rare people have changed optional, because it requires, like, 300 hours of study, 400 hours of study, then 400-500 hours of self study, right? Practicing, answer writing, solving all the previous papers, new papers, test series. A lot of investment, optional demands, and since it's a very demanding topic, right, you cannot switch from it. If you have invested, let's say, 500-600 hours into something, you will be, you can say, very much reluctant to go for another subject, go for another 500 hours of investment, right? So yeah, so think about that and then only choose an optional. So I hope you got the point. So let's get back. By the way, again, but let me show you one more graph. Yeah, so mostly the band, right? Band selecting from optional from last 3 years, then your humanities from the last 3 years, then your science from the last 3 years. More or less the percentage remains same. Right now there is hardly any huge change into it, right? So yes, to choose very wisely. Okay, let's get back. So this we understood. So yeah, so this is how you choose your optional. So now as we have said, we know your optional and then only choose it. Bust the myths, most popular is not most successful, and blindly you don't have to go for your graduation subject, right? You have to think about that, right? Whether you are 8 out of 10 or you are A grader, then only go for graduation subject. Even then, if you want to switch, right, you can. It is not necessary that you are bound to take that graduation subject because you have a lot of understanding. It is not at all like that, right? You can still choose to switch. Yeah, also skill-based choices. For example, once you study that optional, once you basically, developing interest in that particular optional, also, consider few things, that whether it is suitable for your skill, aptitude. For example, geography will require a lot of drawing skills. You'll have to make maps and all. Mathematics, if you have aptitude for number, if you have some background, then only mathematics will make sense. Sociology, there is a lot of writing, analysis, observation of the society, right? So if you like doing this, then these subject, accordingly you can choose. So I hope you got the point. So in this topic we have covered, in this video we have covered amazing topic, which is a very crucial topic, important topic, which is about how to choose an option. I hope this was helpful. So we'll meet again in the next topic and we'll be talking about the book list and all, right? Till then, stay tuned. Bye bye, take care. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.